Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome to my channel. Happy New Year at 2026. This is my first ever video of this year and I thought let's bring something special. So today I am reviewing the all new McLaren Artura. This is the first ever V6 hybrid supercar from McLaren. And today I'm reviewing this car in full English and in full Bangla. So let's start this full in-depth review by talking about the history of McLaren. So McLaren is a British manufacturer that are building cars from a long time. 2nd December 1985 is the date when McLaren's company was found, and it was called McLaren Cars. But at 2010, they renamed their brand into McLaren Automotive. Right now, in today's date, McLaren is a British manufacturer, but it is owned by a company in Abu Dhabi, which is owned by the government of Abu Dhabi. So technically, the owner is actually the government of Abu Dhabi, but this is controlled and manufactured by a British CEO and a British designer. So the McLaren Artura is a very special car. Why? This is the successor of the McLaren 570S. And this is a very rare car in Bangladesh. Let's quickly talk about the car's competitors. The McLaren Artura has a very few competitors. It is the Ferrari 296 GTB, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo, that is the latest generation which I can compare to this, and the McLaren Artura. But basically, if I compared it very closely, the 296 GTB and the McLaren Artura are direct competitors because both of them have a very well engineered hybrid system with a very powerful V6 engine, and both of them are available in Bangladesh. The McLaren Artura is a one of two. This is the one, and there is a orange one. And the Ferrari 296, which I did reviewed before, I'm going to put that on the pop-out banner or in the description, which is I think 3 in Bangladesh in the meantime, or 4. 3 are in red and 1 is in matte black. But it's not actually matte black, it's in gloss black with stealth PPF. So let's come to the Artura. The Artura was announced at 2022. That's when the production of this car started. And when this car came out, a lot of people were, it's a hybrid, it's a this, it's a that. But this is actually the third hybrid vehicle from McLaren. First was the McLaren P1, then was the McLaren Speedtail, then was this, the McLaren Artura. But this is actually the first ever V6 McLaren hybrid vehicle. So let's quickly end up the history because it's pretty boring, and let's show you the car's exterior, then the interior, and then let's talk about the powertrain. So now I will show you the exterior of the McLaren Artura. Let's start with the car's key. The key is very different from the 720S and the 600LT. Why did I mention those? Those are the key I saw in my life. This is your unlock, this is your lock, and this is your trunk opening. It's a very nice key and it feels very nice. And you also have an emergency key. If you just press this button, it opens up from there. Now let's show you the car's exterior. The McLaren Artura is the starting McLaren vehicle. But it is a very high demand vehicle because McLaren sold these a lot. And to be honest, McLaren is one of the most finest supercar manufacturers in the world. Let's start with the front headlights. If you look at pretty much a front fascia of a McLaren, it usually smiles because of the design language it enhances. You have a full LED headlights, and just look how many projector setup you have in there. It looks like it has like multiple eyes, and the way the car's body covers the light, it makes it look like an actual eye even more. You have the daytime running lights and the hazards here, and the hazards are actually swiping. You also have this side hazards light that actually makes this look much more nicer. The front splitter is in gloss black, but you can also get it in matte or gloss carbon fiber. But that is a very high and a very expensive option. It's like $10,000, and that's an MSO option. So McLaren Special Operation. So that's usually a very expensive option, whichever car you get. And that also considers with the car's paint. So there's MSO colors, there's normal colors, and there's optional extra colors. But if we get up from the headlights, if you look at the front fascia, how the fenders and how everything is designed on the car, it looks very aerodynamic and very aggressive. You have these vents which cool the car's oil coolers that are in the front of the car. And if I come over this side, you have the McLaren logo right there. And then if we come below that, you have the front camera. This is actually a very expensive option because the technology package is actually a $6,500 option USD, which gets you a 360-degree camera, a 360-degree parking sensors, and a lot of safety systems. It's pretty much very nice from the front end. You have a single windshield wiper washer and it's more than enough. You have the front camera right there for your automatic lane keep assist and your automatic braking assist. Overall, we're pretty much done with the car's front fascia. Now let me show you the car's practicality part, the frunk. So for showing you the car's practicality, I can open the frunk from the key and there is a button inside the vehicle. So if I just open it up and then if you just lift this up, the McLaren Artura is actually a very practical car because it has more room than the Ferrari 296 GTV, and it is more practical than its bigger brother, the 765 or the 750S. And it's also a hybrid, so you have to consider that on your mind. First of all, you get a car cover with the car which says McLaren. You have your tools that also say McLaren, and you also have the charger right there. You have a light here for all the stuff here. You have a 12-volt socket here if you want to charge or have anything here or plug the trickle charger. And then if I come to this side, you have the windshield wiper washer compartment. That's where you pour the liquid, and over here you have the radiator fluid. So overall, it's pretty nice. It doesn't have anything up there. And let's close this. Before we end up with the front of the car, let's talk about the production and a little more history about the McLaren Artura. It's produced in the UK. This company is actually based in the UK, so it is manufactured there, it is sold there, and it is designed there. And now let's talk what's so special about the Artura. The monocoque of this car is actually made out of carbon fiber and aluminum. What's a monocoque? The car has a chassis. The chassis is the main part of the car. With these supercars, the monocoque is actually called the chassis, so it's made out of full carbon fiber. And it has more aluminum parts to help it out. So the entire monocoque is carbon fiber that helps it make it a lightweight car and a more performance-oriented car. Now let me show you the car's side profile. So the McLaren Artura. This is actually produced on a new platform from McLaren that is called the MCLA. That's the short form. The actual big form is McLaren Carbon Fiber Lightweight Articulture. That is actually where they make the new carbon fiber monocoque of this car that helps this car become a more lighter vehicle because it has a hybrid battery. The weight distribution won't be enough. That's why the full monocoque is in carbon fiber and aluminum. Because at the front you need aluminum, at the back you need aluminum. But the entire monocoque of the center of the hub is actually carbon fiber. So if that gets damaged, you have to completely replace that. And this type of technology is actually also used in the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. Now let me show you the car's side profile. Let's start with the front. So you get a lot of different options when it comes to wheels, but this car has these very nice wheels. So let's start by the brakes. All the McLaren Artura gets carbon ceramic disc and carbon ceramic brakes. What's carbon ceramic brakes? There are two different types of disc brakes. One is the normal steels and one is the carbon ceramics. All of the McLaren Artura gets carbon ceramics, but you get different color option for the brake calipers. Let's come to the car's brake. The front brake thickness is 15.2 inches and the McLaren Artura is a hybrid vehicle, but it doesn't have regenerative brakes. That part is at the transmission. I'm going to explain that when I go to the car's engine. So because this car doesn't have any regenerative brakes, it is actually the same feeling as a non-hybrid vehicle. So you don't have to, when you leave the gas pedal, it automatically brakes the car. It doesn't do any of that. It is actually a very supercar feeling. It's actually a real supercar, and you don't have any hybrid technology bothering you. It's adaptive, and the optional extra technology package gives this car a front nose lift. So you can actually lift the front so it doesn't scratch your front splitter. Overall, these wheels are very nice. You have Pirelli P0 tires on this. It is actually one of the nicest looking specs in Bangladesh. The exterior mirror is actually on this gloss black color. This actually matches the front splitter and the fender splitters right here. Very nice. But what's so cool about the Artura and not about the 296? The doors. There is a button located here. It's actually an electronic button. So if you just press this, the doors go up. This is a very cool feature, and this is actually why people go for the Artura instead of the 296 because the 296 opens as a normal door. But if you come closer, you can see how this car is actually manufactured. This is the monocoque of the car, and this is fully in carbon fiber. So the chassis or the monocoque, whichever you want to call it, that's in full carbon fiber. The roof of the car is also in black to make this contrast look much more nicer. I'm just going to quickly close the door so I can show you the roof. So the roof, the front splitter, the exterior stuff, those are all in black. So this is a two-tone color. There is a big scoop here. This is actually to cool down the car's engine. This specific part looks like the all-new Lotus Emira, but this is much more expensive, much more faster, and much more cooler. Now let's come to the car's rear wheels. The rear wheels are also purely P0s, but because this is a rear-wheel drive car, that's why the rear wheels are much more bigger and much more thicker. The wheels are completely different from the front end because it has a stagger setup. The rear wheels, the rear brakes are also the same size as the front, and you can see how big these are. How do you know if the car has carbon ceramic brakes or steel brakes? If you guys come closer, if you look at the car's rotor, you can see this is pretty different from normal car brakes we see in Bangladeshi cars or cars in Bangladesh. You have McLaren written here, and this is actually the signature color for McLaren, so that's very nice. Over here you have a button. If you just press this, it opens up and you can charge the car's battery. Now let's quickly talk about the car's battery before we go to the car's rear end. So now let's come to the car's battery. So this car has a 7.4 kilowatt hour battery. That's a lithium ion battery. It's not a very big battery, but it's not a very small battery. Because of the weight of the battery, McLaren deleted a lot of stuff from their manufacturing list. First of all, using any weighty things. First thing they did, they removed a reverse gear. So this car has an 8-speed automatic transmission, but 8 of them are for going front. They removed the reverse gear. So how's the car supposed to go reverse and reverse? They made the hybrid battery so it can push the car backwards. So it doesn't have a reverse gear. The hybrid motor helps it go back. This car has a axial fuel X-BAT motor that helps the car produce more power. And all about the engine and stuff, I will explain it there, but I just wanted to quickly clear out this section. And because this new whole technology of the McLaren Artura is very complicated, it needs a lot of cooling for the car. And the McLaren Artura comes in two different options. One is the Spider and one is this coupe. And before we end up with the side profile, let me quickly show you some more stuff. So because this is a rear mid-engine rear-wheel drive vehicle, it needs a lot of cooling. And the engine is actually placed here. So the air that comes from here, it gets inside this. You can see there is actually a vent here that feeds the cold air inside the engine. So it cools up the turbos, the engine, everything. And you can see there is a chimney located here which brings out all the hot air out of the engine. The air that comes out of here is actually 900 degrees. So all the hot air comes out from there, all the cool air goes in there. It completely just works. I don't know how it works, but it just works. And overall, we're pretty much done with the rear of the side of the car. Now I'll show you the car's rear. So let's get started. So now we're at the rear of the McLaren Artura. If you look at the rear of this car, it looks so nice in my opinion. First of all, just look at these rear taillights. It's a very nice looking taillight and it is in full OLED. You have the swiping hazards included with the taillights, and the way the body curves around it, I don't know how to explain, but this looks really cool. And this entire thing has venting because all the hot air from the engine has to come out, and the entire exhaust system, every single thing that creates heat has to come out from here. This car has the optional extra performance exhaust. How do you know? It's from the color. You have McLaren Artura badging right there, and it all the way continues till the other side. Overall, the rear of this car looks very, very aggressive. And you have entire venting here. If you guys come closer, there is another vent located right here, and you can actually see the heat shield for the exhaust. That also brings the hot air out. These also bring the hot air out, and you have the main chimney right there. The entire engine cover has vents and stuff so the hot air can come out. And you can see the upper stop brake light located there. The rear windshield is also heated, so it's not going to fog up. You see those lines, those help it heat it up. You have the number plate slot right here. You have the parking sensors over the car. You have 4 parking sensors in the total. You have this also in black. So it's either you have 2 different options. You can have it in the normal body color, or you can have this two-tone design, or you can get the very expensive MSO full carbon fiber option. But that's like really expensive, and that's like not even worth it in my opinion, unless you care about the car's value in like 10-20 years. If you come down here, you have this very nice aggressive splitter. You can see there are fins here, there's fin there, and you can kind of see everything down here. So it's very nice how McLaren kept that like exposed, so you can see it, and it can also get the hot air out. It's pretty nice how this car is designed. I know I couldn't explain a lot of stuff, but it's a very complicated car, but it is a very amazing car in my opinion. We're pretty much done with the exterior of the car. Now I'll go to the car's interior, and at the end of the video, I'll talk about the powertrain. Why at the end? Because everybody wants to know about the powertrain, and I want everybody to watch the full video. So let's get inside the McLaren Artura. Before I get inside, I have to show this quick thing. One side has the car's battery charger, and one side actually has the car's fuel tank. So if you just press this and then it opens up, then you can fill up your capless fuel tank from here. Pretty simple thing, but I just quickly wanted to show you guys this. And for opening the door, there's like this very nice kind of holder, but there's an electronic button down here. If you just press this, it opens the car's door. Now let me show you the car's interior. So now we're at the inside of the McLaren Artura. So the inside of this car is beautiful. First of all, let's start with the seats. This car actually has the performance interior, and these are the bucket seats that comes with the car. First of all, there's the McLaren logo embossed on the top. Then you have the orange stitching that is optional extra to match the car's brake calipers. And these are the bucket seats. It's fully in Alcantara, and not just the seats, everything is in Alcantara. The headliner, the dash, the steering, pretty much everything is Alcantara. But what's the best part of this car? It is the way you sit inside and you feel. Because first of all, the seats are bucket seats. The only way to control it, you could get it front and back. That's the only thing you can do it. And there is a button located here for the car's under thigh support and lumbar support. But now let's come to the dash. It's fully in Alcantara. You have the AC vent located right there, and you have the Bowes and Wickham's optional extra sound system, so that's the tweeter. You have some more vent here. You have two AC vents here as well. You have the tweeter on the front, and you have some vents for the defogger for the front windshield. If you come to the center panel, if you just open this section up, you have a pretty decent amount of storage with one USB-C and one USB charging sockets. If I close that, you have pretty much a small cup holder here. Then you have the hazards, the car's reverse, neutral, drive, and start button, and you have a cup holder for a bottle of water or a coffee, whichever you want to keep. Now I will show you the car's pretty much tech part. So let's start with the car's infotainment system. So the McLaren Artura gets this very nice screen. This is actually, first of all, I really like the design, how this kind of opens up, and then you have this button for the car's volume. It's like really like attention to detail, if I want to show you that. So this car also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that's very nice to use. You have your navigation, your phone connection, media, and this is for your traction control settings. So if you just press this, right now the car's on EV mode because it's really loud and I don't want to turn it on, but I will show you this feature in a bit. So let's just quickly go out of this. So this is the main screen. You have some buttons right there. This is actually everything you can control. First of all, you have your media for your Bluetooth and your Apple CarPlay. You have your phone, so if you connect your phone, you can use this and call. You have your navigation, you have your driving position. If you go on your driving position, you have 5 different memory seats on this car. So you can change up whichever you want. Now, right now it's on the 5th one. The car has ambient lighting, so you can choose the color. You can see on my foot and also on the door where you have the ambient lighting. You can change the colors. There's multiple colors. So there is this orange, there's red, there's pink, and see how slowly it changes colors. So it's actually really nice. And you have some more different kind of colors located right there. If you go back again, you have the VCT. This is actually for the drifting system. So McLaren is the only car manufacturer which gives you a complete thing, so you can actually drift the car. So for that, I have to turn the car on. So for turning the car on, right now the car is on, but it's on EV mode. You have this button which you control the car's driving mode. So if I just press this once and we put the car on normal mode, so now the car's engine turned on. So for this controller, I have to turn the traction control completely off and then show it to you. So for that, I would have to control a lot of different stuff, but I'll just show you. I will just come back to that. After that, you have the audio, you have the settings, and if you get this up, you have the car's AC control. So if you just press this, the AC turns on. Where you want the air, auto, and the temperatures are controlled down here. This is for the front and rear windshield heaters. There you go. It's pretty much simple. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, like I mentioned. It's not that complicated. It's a very simple screen. And to be honest, I like the Ferrari 296 GTB's interior more because that's just much more easier to control. And I really like the start button, how it illuminates right here. After that, I'll come up here. You have your SOS button, and then you have some lights here. So it's touch sensitive. There, it turns on. The rear view mirror is auto dimmed, as you can see. And you have your vanity mirrors right here. You can get that down, get that up, and the full headliner is actually in Alcantara, and the full steering wheel is actually in full Alcantara. And for controlling a lot of different stuff, you can actually do it from the car's steering wheel. So for controlling the steering wheel or for adjusting it, there is a button located here, and the car's driver's display actually moves with it. So if I want to get it up, if I want to get it down, if I want to get it towards me, if I want to get it backwards, it completely moves together. And this has a very nice Alcantara steering wheel, metal shifters. This is also in metal, so it's actually very nice how the steering actually works. And this car actually gets a hydraulic steering, not an electronic steering, so you get more feel of the road. And look at the headlights. If I rotate the car's steering, the headlight actually moves with it, so that's a very nice feature. And then there are more buttons here. This is for controlling the screen over here, and this is for the high beam and the hazards. And then over here is for the windshield wiper, and this is for the car's cruise control. Now we're pretty much done with the steering wheel. You have the McLaren logo here. This is also in Alcantara, but now I will show you the car's driver's display. So the driver's display actually has a lot of information. First of all, you can see the 12-volt battery, how much percentage is the battery. That's going to show it right there. So that's 127%. That's the 12-volt battery, not the car's battery. You can see the McLaren Artura at the center. You can see the suspension and the traction control, which mode it is actually in. And then over this side, you have the car's fuel range. And over this side, you have the car's electric battery range. And you can see which drive mode you're in. You have the car's outside temperature, you have the car's kilometer, and you have the time located at the center. For starting the vehicle, I have to press on the brake and press on the start button. There, the car will turn on. And if I show you the complete instrument cluster, it automatically comes down as the memory seat. So this is on electric mode. In electric mode, it has a range of 33 kilometers or 19 miles. But in Bangladesh, I don't know if that is completely same, because we have a lot more traffic than the rest of the world. But if you want to change up the instrument cluster, you can control the drive modes with this button. So if I change the drive modes, the engine will automatically turn off. So this is if I put it in comfort. So the comfort brings out everything you want to notice, like your RPM. Right now the car is cold, and the car has a soft limiter at 4,000 RPM. That's why it's red until here. But if you put it in drive, it automatically changes. And then if I want to change it again, I can put it in sports. This is the sports. When you put the car in sports, the engine temperature and the engine oil temperature comes out. And this is actually how much you're pressing on the brake, how much the car is pushing power, and how much it's charging the battery. And then if I press this again, it goes into the track mode. This is the most aggressive mode this car can go. And over here is another button which you can control the car suspension and the handling. So McLaren calls it handling. So if I change that to sport, nothing really happens. If I change that to track, this is the most performance oriented way you can drive this car. And if I turn off the traction control, there's a button located here. If I just press this and keep holding it, it will eventually turn the car's traction control completely off. Overall, it's pretty nice how everything is, and the way you sit inside this car, there's no way to recline the backrest. So it's always like this. The only thing you can change is you can get it forwards and backwards, and like up and low. Now let's come to this side. You have another AC vent located here. You have the frunk opening here. You have the lock. This is for your lane keep assist. This is for the front lift. This is your parking brake, and these are your headlight controls. So I'm going to put that on auto. Then if you come down here, you have your brake pedal, dead pedal, and this is your gas pedal. So overall, it is pretty nice. You have the tweeter located right here for the bows and wick limbs. That's an optional extra sound system. And then you can see how much room you have to climb over and get out of the vehicle. But one more thing that I missed out, there's more air that actually comes in from the car. So it comes in from here, it gets inside, like inside this somehow, and it cools up the car's engine. It goes inside here and cools up the car's engine. So the aerodynamics on this car is very complicated, but it's really nice how McLaren actually built this car. And there's actually more leather over here too. So it's just not Alcantara, there's leather compartments as of the door. Now let me show you the door. First of all, you have a little storage cubby here, but how would you, put like your phone or something, it's gonna fall off. No, there's more depth here. So McLaren designed it in a way so nothing's going to fall off. Then you have the ambient lighting strip. You have the bows and wick limbs sound system speaker right there. Then you have your window opener and your door handle openers located right there. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to turn the car off because we are pretty much done with the interior, and get out, because now is the most important part of this review, talking about the car's powertrain. So now let's talk about the car's powertrain, and it's going to be the end of today's video. So first of all, let's start with the car's engine. This car is a mid-engine rear-wheel drive vehicle, and this is the first ever hybrid V6 McLaren that McLaren ever built. So the McLaren Artura. The McLaren Artura is the first ever hybrid V6 manufacturing engine from McLaren. McLaren is usually known for their V8s. The Speedtail, the McLaren P1, the 720, the 765, the 750S, all have the very iconic V8 engine that's better than Lamborghini's V12, Ferrari's V12, because there's competitors with that. But now let's come to this car's engine. This car has a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 engine with a hybrid motor. The hybrid motor is 7.4 kilowatt-hour battery. That is actually on the rear of the car, and because it's hybrid, McLaren had to delete out a lot of stuff from this car to make it lightweight. The first thing they did, they removed the reverse gear. The motor, the electric motor helps the car go in reverse, but it doesn't have a reverse gear. It has 8 gears and 8 of them are going forwards. For putting the car on reverse, the car's battery helps it go reverse. The 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 engine is a hot V. What's a hot V? So it's a V6, so it's in a V shape, and the turbochargers are actually located in the V. So that way, it's like a very complicated way to manufacturing an engine, because the engine of the car is the compartment where there's the most amount of heat, and the turbo is supposed to be on a place where the most amount of cool air is supposed to go there. But because it's a hot V, the engine is like this, and the turbochargers are on top of the engine, and it's twin turbochargers. This and the Ferrari 296 actually both have hot V engines, because both of them are very complicated V6 manufacturing engines with hybrid batteries. Just from the engine, this car is producing 577 horsepower, just from the engine. With the electric motor and the electric battery, it is producing a combined horsepower of 691 horsepower and 720 Newton meters of torque, which is going through the car's 8-speed automatic transmission, and the power is coming to the rear of the car. Like the way McLaren made this car's engine, it's very nice and it's just mind-blowing. And that's going to be the end of today's review. I want to give out a big thanks to Continental Motors for bringing this car to Bangladesh and bringing the 4 Ferrari 296 GTBs of Bangladesh. And I want to thank Bhaiya also for giving me this car so I could do a full in-depth review of it. And we are pretty much done with today's review. If you liked today's review, make sure you hit the like button, do subscribe, I will put my social media links on the description so you can follow me on those. Until then, I'll see you next time. And this was pretty much it for the McLaren Artura.